but you wear so many different hats that I wanted to also just touch maybe right off the bat, the WLF, just the state of Wisconsin as a whole. How does lacrosse look from that hat, so to speak? How do things look statewide, and maybe even if there's a couple of players perhaps to kind of keep an eye on as well, that'd be great as well.
Yeah, I would say with the WIA taking on, and now its second season, taking on high school lacrosse, the WLF really now is focused on investing and developing that pipeline, really focused on investing on our youth programs to make sure that we have strong high school programs, strong feeder systems for those high school programs to make sure that WIA lacrosse is successful. So I think the WLF has really changed its focus. I think in the past it was really geared towards the high school and kind of a little bit, I don't want to say dominated, but like a lot of the discussions and stuff tended to be high school focused. Now what we're seeing is the WLF is really investing and focusing its energy and time on the youth. And I think that's really a good thing, because then, there's more time and effort devoted to the youth, to helping them get better, to helping create opportunities and tournaments and stuff like that. Next year in 2026, there's going to be a youth state tournament, a WLF youth state tournament in Wisconsin Dells. So I'm thinking things like that and opportunities like that will only help build the game, help build a stronger lacrosse in the state of Wisconsin from all four corners of the state, and really help build that pipeline to ensure that we have a strong WIA lacrosse at the high school level.
Yeah, no doubt. And perhaps I showed my lack of podcasting skills. A better question probably would have been, newly into the WIAA, the high school looks way different, like you said, than it did 2 years ago. What is your take now? Is it better with WIAA? Is it how's it going? Are you kind of over the hiccups now?
I would say that we're really getting over a lot of those kind of the speed bumps that come along with the transition like that. It really is a good thing overall for our sport. Now we're not just a club sport anymore. We're part of our high school programs. People who are lettering and who are doing this and that are part of, the high school program for each of our respective cities. I think it really helps to have that kind of visibility. Whereas it's one thing when you're just a club and maybe not everybody, all the students hear of it and stuff. When you're a sponsored sport by your school, that gives you a lot more visibility. It gives you a lot more access to resources such as playing time on your football field and this and that. It gives you access to, transportation sometimes and this and that. So I think there's a lot of things that really get missed at the club level that when you're a varsity sponsored sport really is a good thing. As to how the landscape has changed, last year, we kind of were in two different camps. There was like a camp up in the Green Bay area that had us, Oneida, De Pere, us, De Pere, Bayport, and Notre Dame. And then on the other side was the Fox Valley schools, Neenah, Kimberly, Appleton, Wausau, and Oneida were in a separate group. This year, we put together, our athletic directors worked together. They put a fast track proposal in front of the WIAA. And so now it kind of, if you remember the old Bay Valley, we kind of merged that back together. And next year, Stevens Point will be offering lacrosse. So essentially, yeah. So I think essentially what used to be the old Bay Valley is now kind of brought back together now as the new Bay Valley under the auspices of the WIA. So that's really an exciting development for us. And I think something that everybody's looking forward to.
So a lot of those schools then it's a one sport school, the Bay Valley, Pulaski, Wausau, I guess, is both high schools. Appleton is a co-op, but you have Kimberly in their high school. You have Bayport in their high school. Is Stevens Point going to be a co-op as well? Pacelli, things like that. I think are over there.
Yeah. So Stevens Point, I think, is just going to be Stevens Point. I know in the past they had Pacelli as part of it, but my understanding is, at least from what I've read, is that it's just going to be Stevens Point. Wausau is a co-op of the two Wausau schools plus DC Everest. Now, if you remember, DC Everest used to be a Bay Valley program, and now they're part of that co-op. In the Green Bay area, we are just Pulaski. Bayport is just Bayport. De Pere is a co-op of the two De Pere schools, so De Pere and West De Pere. And then Notre Dame, I think, does have a couple other programs. I think Ashwaubenon and Kaukauna co-op with them. And I think Green Bay Southwest co-ops with Oneida. And then in the Valley, I believe Neenah and Kimberly are by themselves, but Appleton is a co-op. They have the 3 Appleton public schools, the 2 private schools, Xavier and FEL, and I think they also have a couple other schools that they co-op with as well.
Well, I mean, it's exciting. We're literally on the ground floor building up. I think it sounds like it's in a great spot. I mean, these co-ops eventually, you hope that, they start eventually breaking off where all the high schools, just like football and basketball, all the high school sports have their own team. But, this is how you grow the sport. And like you said, with the youth numbers and the youth participation, that's where it starts. And as they get excited, schools get excited to add them. I mean, how great would it be to have Oshkosh and Fond du Lac and, some of the bigger
Exactly.
towns around here? They should have lacrosse.
Yeah, we hope that someday, our hope is, and that's actually one of our, part of the WLF, one of our tenants is, and I, as you know, I'm the president of the WLF, is to get the Fond du Lacs, the Oshkosh, the Hortonvilles, the Kaukanas, the Ashwaubenons and stuff. We want to see, lacrosse, the Manitowoc, Two Rivers area, right? We want to see all those areas get lacrosse so that we can build even an even stronger WIA lacrosse and a stronger lacrosse community here in Northeast Wisconsin. We want to see all those schools have lacrosse.
That would just be incredible. Maybe you throw Hudson in there too, right? Just for good measure.
that would be terrific for Western Wisconsin.
No, I love that. Well, you laid out the Bay Valley nicely, and I want to talk now specifically about your club because you're the founder of Pulaski. I mean, you were in early. You're literally one of the founders of Kimberly as well, and kind of watched that grow. I think you kind of took their blueprint, brought it up to Pulaski where you live, and started with the youth and built a great program. Really competitive kids. They were, some of the kids played year round. I saw them at the box and things like that. And then you built up now to high school. Now you're a full varsity team. You're playing in the stadium. You're playing lacrosse. You're a high school lacrosse program. So I mean, congratulations. It's been a long run for you, but I mean, you're in a great spot, I think, right?
Yes, yeah. So this is our second, as you mentioned, we founded the program back in 2018. We did learn to play lacrosses for the first 2 years. In 2020, we started the youth program with the intent of that it was going to, build and then eventually funnel up to a high school program. 2020, unfortunately, because of COVID, ended up getting canceled after a couple weeks. But 2021, we came back strong. We had 12s and 14s at that year, and then the next year we had 10s, 12s, and 14s, and we've been doing that ever since. On the high school side, we had a club team for 2 years. At the JV level, and then once the WIA took over, now we are in the second year of as a high school program. So it's really exciting for us. I think the first year was kind of a learning experience. That was our first year at the varsity level. We did, have plenty of opportunities to learn things. The speed of pace is a lot faster. The technique and the conditioning and all the things that come with that are just at a higher level. So I think there's a lot that we really learned from that, and I'm hoping this year we look at it as there's a progression, right? The example I always give is the first time you play somebody, especially a really good team like a Neenah or an Appleton or something, it can be a bit of a learning experience. The second time you close that gap, and the third time, we want to make it a game, right? So we're at the second stage of that. We want to take that step. We want to really progress and improve our skills, and we want to start, surprising people, making it something so that when people play us, they know, hey, they played Pulaski.
So who are some of the boys that they're going to be going up against? Talk about, you attack the poles, the middies.
Yeah. So we have our returning first teamer, Gavin Heinz. He is a two-sport athlete. He plays football. He also plays lacrosse.
Nice.
And Gavin's very athletic. He can play on the defensive side, which is where he originally started, but now he's also been able to branch out and do some attack for us as well. He really has a strong shot. He's somebody who's very athletic. And so somebody that I think everybody's looking to see, hey, you were first team in our Green Bay conference last year. Now that we're a merged conference, what can he accomplish for us? We have Cody Delabrew. He's one of our captains of the team. He's been a captain since back at U14. So every year he's been a captain of our team. He's a midi. He's a fogo for us. He's really a leader for the team. He's somebody that I think all the players look up to. And he really sets the tone for, especially we have a lot of young players on our team, given the youth of our program, and so I think a lot of them look to Cody's leadership and his example and what he does to set the example for our team. We have Nick Sanders at X for us. He's really our feeder up in the attack area. Our offense runs through Nick. So Nick, he's kind of versatile. He can both, somebody that can take it to the hole and, get the inside roll and get that goal. He just did it for us yesterday in our game versus Oak Creek. And then, but he's also a feeder. He's somebody that, like I said, we run our offense through him. He attacks from X and really challenges the defense. So I'm really looking forward to see what Nick can do this year. He's somebody that has a lot of versatility, a lot of skills. He's also a two-sport player. He plays both football and lacrosse. So excited for that. We also have Josh Hiddle. Josh is a relatively new player. I think he's only picked up lacrosse here in the past couple of years. He's also a two-sport athlete in football and lacrosse. But Josh is very athletic, and I think he's really going to surprise some people, both at the midi spot, but also by his ability to goal score and his ability to finish. Our goalie is Ben Schrader. Ben had a phenomenal day yesterday. He's really, I think, by all measures, really surprised everybody with his ability. He's kind of an aggressive goalie. He likes to attack. And that's something I think that really helps and benefits a team like ours. And he also sets the tone. I think a lot of people look at his effort and his hustle. He really, each play, he's really going for that end line, going for those balls. And that really sets the tone, especially for our young players to say, hey, that's something we want to emulate, that kind of level of hustle and that grit. So we really look up to Ben, and he was one of our players of the game yesterday. And then I think we're going to a couple of players I think that will surprise people this year. I think it might be a chance for a breakout year for him. Everett Just, he scored a couple of goals yesterday for us. He was constantly attacking the crease, so I'm looking for good things from Everett. Maxime Ninham had a goal, and he did some good things yesterday. And then Corbin Hill, he's one of our captains. He's somebody that can really versatile. He can play anywhere on the field. He can play defense. He can play LSM. He can play attack. He can play Fogo. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing he's kind of a quiet leader. He really lets his actions do the talking, and I'm excited for what Corbin can do and looking forward to see what he'll do this season.
I tell you what, there's nothing that keeps an official more on his feet than an active goalie, is there?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. It keeps you busy.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. The thing I noticed about when you were listing off the guys are the two-sport athletes, which I absolutely love, and a lot of them are football players. We talked to Roger a little bit about the same thing. That is so great to see. It's happening with all the teams. I mean, Nina's is the same thing. Appleton. The two sports correlate so well together. You're even seeing it on NFL. Nothing warms my heart more than on a Sunday and they put up the graphic of whoever and college lacrosse player and decided to play football or whatever the case is. But there's more and more of those every year, lacrosse and football players.
And to be honest with you, a lot of times when I'm giving examples in practice and stuff, a lot of the examples come from like a basketball or come from other sports because you can use a lot of those same kind of offensive concepts and stuff. Keep that backboard in your back. Well, in lacrosse, we have a goal in our back, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of similar concepts that you can use for the pick and roll game, the off-ball screens and all that kind of stuff. A lot of that translates from other sports. And when you have players that come from those other sports, not only does it keep them in shape, does it keep them active, does it keep them utilizing their skills, does it keep them, working on being a good leader and being a good communicator and stuff. It also helps from the standpoint of learning those other skills and stuff, things that they can bring to your team and help your team be successful.
Yeah, no doubt. Once people understand, whether it's a spectator or even an official, once you understand the flow is very, very similar to basketball, that just opens up your mind. The game comes to you way better, I think, when you understand that concept. In the Bay Valley as a whole, so you've got your team. How's the schedule look? I mean, are you bringing some teams up from the south? Are you doing some traveling? How's the schedule look for you?
Yep, we have a full schedule this year. We have a full 18 game plus we have a scrimmage. So yesterday we were down in Oak Creek. in the Milwaukee area there. We wanted to get that experience versus some of the the Milwaukee programs and stuff down there in Milwaukee. They have more programs, and the lacrosse has been around a little bit longer there. So we wanted to get down there, play some games there. Also, it's a little warmer down there than it is up here sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity to get on turf a little quicker and stuff. But then we already head this week into our BVLA schedule. We got Appleton at home at Saputo Stadium. So our first game played on our football field. So we're very proud of that. We'll be on Tuesday, and then we play on Thursday versus Oneida at Green Bay Southwest. So, and then on Saturday we play Notre Dame, and we play Lacrosse. So we're already, getting right into the BVLA schedule this week already. We're also going down. We're seeing Sun Prairie. We played them last year, and we're playing them again this year. It was really cool last year. That Sun Prairie Stadium is where the WIA championships are held. Last year, they'll be held this year and next year. It's really a phenomenal facility.
Oh, incredible.
I think there are D3 colleges that would would kill to have that kind of facility. And it was a night game. We were very fortunate that Sun Prairie is willing to give our kids the experience of a night game. So to have that great of a facility for a night game, it was phenomenal. So yeah, we're going back down there again. And then we have a tournament in May where we're heading down to Sauk Prairie and play lacrosse and stuff. So we're excited to try. We're playing a tough, conference schedule, but we're also looking at getting out there, playing some of those other teams, getting that experience, and kind of broadening the skill set of our team.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. The WLF always did a fantastic job with the state tournament. They were fantastic, but the WIAA really knows how to put on a state tournament, don't they? Whether it's football, basketball, and I assume lacrosse, they do a pretty nice job.
Absolutely. Yeah. As you know, I'm a football and wrestling official as well.
Yeah.
And every time I go down there to watch the state wrestling tournament or the state football tournament, right, you almost get chills as you walk in, because it's like, this is the, preeminent event in the state of Wisconsin. And now to have lacrosse as part of that, to get those chills because of our sport is really something special.
Yeah, no doubt. We've had a couple of coaches, officials, things like that have worked state tournaments, and particular the wrestling, that overhead shot when it's in the Kohl Center, when it's dark with all the mats on the floor and the lights shining on them, that is just one incredible, that's breathtaking photo, really.
Yeah, the Tournament of Champions. Yeah, so for those who aren't aware, on Saturday night, it's usually I think like 5:30, 6 o'clock. The top two at each level. So the top two girls, the top two D1, D2, and D3 on the boys' side, all do a thing where they do a walkout, and they kind of have merging lines that kind of go around and stuff. And they turn off the lights, they put on the spotlights, they put on this music. I tape it every year because I go down every year, and it's really something that to behold. It's something that you watch it and you're just like, wow. To just be there to see that. It sells out every single year. So I mean, it's a great experience. It's a great experience for the wrestlers. It's a great experience for the officials. It's a great experience for all who are involved, the mat workers and the officials and stuff. So really, like you said, the WIA puts on a great show, and yeah, now to have lacrosse as part of that is we're very fortunate, and I hope we can continue that legacy.
No, that's pretty cool. And in there, I think we'll end with this, since I mean you're an official. I'm a former official, but anybody that's out there, I know lacrosse needs officials. All these sports need officials, and you get to experience that kind of stuff. You're on all these fields, you're calling all these games, and legit, you can work a state tournament after a few years of just working hard and get in that kind of an environment. I tell you what, man, there's nothing better. When you get older, you look for stuff like that, and that checks a lot of boxes, being an official.
Absolutely. I tell my players every year, I highly recommend becoming like a youth official, because one, it helps them they get more knowledgeable about the rules of the game, right? A lot of players play the game their entire career and they never actually read the rule book. When you become an official, you actually have to read the rule book, but you also know how to play right up to that line, right? You want to play tough defense. You want to, be a challenge them on offense and stuff, but you want to play right up to that line, but not get the call, right? And by being an official, you know what an official is looking for. You're knowing that they're looking for this or that on that slash or that cross check and stuff. And so you can play by knowing the rules, by knowing what an official is looking for. It only makes you a stronger player. It helps grow the game. And so I think really I encourage all players to become youth officials. It not only helps grow the game, but I think it also helps their development. And then, of course, for adults, I think it's great as well because, one, you get connected to the game. I know I was somebody that played a zillion sport. I played 6 sports growing up, right? It's an opportunity for me to stay connected to high school sports. It's an opportunity. I'm running up and down the field, right? I don't have to go to the gym after work or anything like that because if I'm an official, I'm running or whatever. And then, two, it's really the camaraderie. I think a point that's not recognized too often is that, like, when I'm in football, you have a crew. In lacrosse, you have a crew of guys, and you really get to know those guys. You work with those guys all the time, and it becomes, they become like a second family to you. And I text with my football crew all the time. We're telling jokes to each other, sending memes to each other and stuff. It's really becomes a kind of a band of brothers, a camaraderie that you have with these guys, and you spend those nights working together under the lights, playing a great game, and watching a great game being played and officiating it. The sport needs it, and I think it's really it's a great way to spend a night. I'd much rather do that than sitting on the Davenport watching TV.
Geez, Rich, I might have to come back. You almost talked me into it. All right, well, I appreciate it. It's great that lacrosse is back. I'm excited. I appreciate the coaches doing this, and certainly thank you to you because it is a small group of people that kind of run the lacrosse community, and you wear multiple hats. And I know I can say this for the whole community. Thank you for that, and good luck this year.
Hey, thanks, Joe. We appreciate it. Go Pulaski.